Hey there, welcome to The Fuck Did I Just Watch? With your host, Kyle McLemore. This week we'll be reviewing MOONFALL, starring Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson, directed by Roland Emmerich. If you haven't seen it, be sure to pause now because they're coming. They're coming. That's right, heavy spoilers coming up ahead. We'll be spoiling and talking about this movie basically from A to Z, or as much as we can. We'll be talking about this movie from here to the moon. Moonfall, get it? Moonfall. Every time I think about Moonfall, I think about Skyfall, the James Bond movie, which makes me think about singing it the Adele way. Let the moon fall, let it crumble. Which brings me to my next point of the moon crashing into Earth. Oh yeah, so let's back it up, right? So, Moonfall. Let's give you the loose synopsis here. In my best movie theater voice possible. The world stands on the brink of annihilation when a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit and sends it hurtling towards a collision course with Earth. With only weeks before impact, NASA executive Jocinda "Joe" Fowler teams up with a man from her past and a conspiracy theorist for an impossible mission into space to save humanity. That's right. The aforementioned Jocinda, played by Halle Berry, the man from her past, Patrick Wilson, known for Insidious and what's the other one? I always mix them up because it's basically the same thing. Insidious and the other one, I don't know. He's like the horror, those recent horror movies, the 20 different Insidious movies. I was kind of excited for him to get out of the Insidious verse and do something. I mean, in space, as far away from creepy dolls as possible. And they also mentioned the conspiracy theorist played by John Bradley, who was good. John Bradley, if you don't know, oh yeah, he was in Game of Thrones. Is probably what you know him the most for. Game of Thrones, yeah. Sam, I think. Jon Snow's bitch ass friend. Michael Pena also in it. Michael Pena is the new husband of like Patrick Wilson, it's like his ex-wife's new husband. Donald Sutherland pops in. I'd love to know how much they paid him because he pops in for like one scene to talk about how scary the moon is, and then he basically dips. But yeah, all right. So spoiler alert, you have been alerted. If you haven't jumped out now, this is your very last chance before we go through Moonfall. Let the moon fall, let it crumble. I take it all into the moonfall. All right. So, it starts out like in 2011. Patrick Wilson is in space with Halle Berry. They're doing some satellite work. When they're suddenly hit by like a wave of this dark material or something that goes flying by. And I think there's another astronaut out there with Patrick Wilson who gets blown away in the debris or something. And he's like, my friend who I'll never mention his name in the rest of this movie, but I care about him. He goes blasting off. Halle Berry doesn't witness what happens. She's in the shuttle, so her ship gets all torn apart or whatever. Not torn apart, but it's all discombobulated, but she doesn't actually see with her eyes like what it was. But Patrick Wilson is outside. He sees like a full cloud go by him or whatever. And then it blasts over to the moon and starts drilling like a hole into the fucking moon and then vanishes. So cut to a couple months later, he's in court. I think I have my loose notes here I was taking. He's in court. There we go. Yeah, he's in court. It's like 4 months later. Oh, sorry. 18 months. They're doing like a trial. It's like Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry both on trial talking about what happened. And he's like, it was a fucking crazy space cloud and it attacked us. And they're like, Halle Berry, did that happen? And she's like, well, technically I was in my ship. And he's like, what the fuck? Why would I make up the giant crazy cloud? And he was like, well, excuse me, for the skeptical times here, is it possible it could have just been like a blah, blah, blah? And she's like, well, technically. And he's like, Halle Berry, what the fuck? We're supposed to be friends. Why would I make this up? So they're like, yeah, whatever. Patrick Wilson, go talk to your fucking creepy doll. The fuck out of here. So he's like, man, I'm out of here. And then it does like a 10-year jump. It's just like, we're only like 10 minutes into this movie and we've skipped like more than a decade into the future. I think they introduced his, because it's like when he's on trial, he like shows his kid and his wife is all stressed out because he's on trial because he keeps bringing up this crazy this crazy space cloud that nobody believes. And it's like they drilled a hole. You saw it drill a hole in the moon. Just tell them to look at the moon. You'll see that big fucking hole right there. But whatever. 10 years later, it jumps again, and it's like, jumping to the conspiracy guy. He's like, checking out the satellite. And, oh my God, my readings were correct this whole time. I gotta talk to somebody. Tries to call NASA. They're like, yeah, whatever, bro. We'll put you to customer service. So he's like, all right, I gotta go find Patrick Wilson. Finds him. Patrick Wilson is like, yeah, you're fucking crazy. See ya. Gives him the boot. And I think around the same time, and then they're like, that's when NASA's like, oh shit, you know what? I think the moon is like starting to get kind of closer to Earth, which isn't supposed to happen, I don't think. So they send up a probe, or like a shuttle with a probe on it to check out the hole that they suddenly noticed that Patrick Wilson was like, what the fuck? 11 years, I told you about the fucking hole, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, let's go check out the fucking hole. So they send in a probe, and they're like, oh, this probe's going like 26 fucking kilometers deep. And then, like, the fucking space, it's fucking nano. All right, I'm going to spoil it. It's fucking nanobots. The fucking nanobots cloud shoots out and goes, like, all around their ship, and it doesn't, like, in this weird way where, like, it, like, hits on it, like, connects and, like, starts, like, filling it up. And then it's, like, takes, like, a snake form, and they're like, what the fuck? That's, like, basically, I think it's, like, PG-13, and that's basically as violent as it gets, is, like, the fucking nanobot cloud will stab you to death. Instead of just, like, crushing the ship completely or, like, ripping it apart, it, like, does that stupid thing where it slowly fills it up, even though it's, like, a giant cloud the size of fucking the moon. No, like, part of the moon. Anyway, so they're like, oh, shit. Patrick Wilson. The hole, bro, the hole. Meanwhile, not much is going on disaster-wise. The moon starts getting closer, so we get, like, our first kind of, like, big tsunami, which hits California. It's just as Patrick Wilson runs back to be like, hey, you were right, man. You knew about this before NASA. Let's team up, even though I called you a fucking nut job. And then, like, that's when the tsunami hits, of course. They're in California. And it's not that, I mean, yeah, it definitely floods the shit out of the place, but it's like, even this isn't even that bad. And it's like, as far as, you know, the moon crashing into Earth, not that bad. So we did a little bit more from our conspiracy guy, John Bradley, who tells us that the moon is a megastructure. Buckle your seatbelts for this. It's a megastructure, basically hollow. Okay, so from what I remember, our ancestors, who were like super more advanced than us, got so advanced and they made this awesome AI which became self-aware and murdered everybody and became the dark cloud of nanobots and killed everybody. While it was murdering everybody, our ancestors made these little moon megastructure size, like just spheres that are hollow, that are powered by dwarf stars, which I think are like stars that are about to explode or whatever. It harnesses the energy inside, so it's like hollow with like a star at the heart, which powers it to go explore the universe for potential homes. So it's like our great ancestors or whatever. And the nanoswarm is like attracted to this technology, any technology. And that's why the moon is out of orbit, because it finally found it, drilled into it, it goes around the sun, which the moon is like, boo, power off, floating towards Earth. And every time it flies out to stab somebody in the face, moon power back on. So that's what a megastructure is. It's a hollow orb that explores the universe. And the surprise, I never would have thought there'd be one in our backyard. He really tries his hardest to sell like the over-the-top crazy guy, which is cool. Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson are supposed to have this friendly relationship, but the chemistry is just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's really there. It feels like they met that day on set, and they're like, we're best friends for life, remember? Like, that's how we're supposed to act. So, where are we? Moon crashing. It's getting closer. Stuff's getting messed up. So they have to, like, they're down to, like, their only option is an old space shuttle that was, like, in a museum because for some reason nobody is interested in making another shuttle or anything. So, like, we got to use this old shitty one with only 2 engines. And they're like, 2 engines, it's impossible. But they're not impossible if it's, like, you know, the moon and the Earth are going to be closer, so don't need that much power. We can fucking 2 engine that shit. So they're about to take off, and they're like, warning, you guys have a fucking gravity wave coming in. Did he say gravity wave? And it's like the moon's coming in, so there's like a tidal wave that's like half in between that they gotta fly out of, and of course they do. And then they land. Alright, so I know I said buckle your seatbelts earlier, but buckle them again. Double buckle. Because here we go when they get to the moon. They get to the moon, they fucking fly into it. Alright, they made it. They're being chased by the fucking nanoswarm. They're like, whoa! And then, like, all of a sudden he's like, oh, something's taking over the controls. And, like, a door opens and they fly through and it closes, and then the nanobot's like, whoa, let me in. And then they crash. They're like, ooh, oxygen running low. Ba-do-do-do, ba-do-do-do. Open it up. Oh, what? We can breathe atmosphere? And then it's like, you see like the thing scan them, like, they wake up. Patrick Wilson has already been awake. He's like stumbled off, and it's like, what is it like? It's like from Contact or what other, like 14 other sci-fi movies where it's like his son walks up to him as a little kid, and he's like, hello, father. And he's like, you're not my son. He's like, yes, I know. I am the megastructure. I've taken this form to please your mind or whatever. And it's like, all right, pretty sure I've seen this in something else or several other things. And then that's when they give you the whole, let me give you the knowledge. And he's like, oh. And it's like, remember. And it's like what I said about the ancestors and like the megastructures and like the nanobots fucked everybody except for like the last moon that is our moon, whatever. So there you go. And then Patrick was, oh, wow, I know everything now. And they're like gonna fly out. They have to like hit this like EMP special nuke or some shit. Patrick Wilson's like, all right, I'll sacrifice myself. And then at the last minute, John Bradley, conspiracy theorist, is like, tell the people that I was right about the moon all along. And he swaps and they're like, no, and he fucking, and he has like some line, I think, when the thing is like coming on him, he's like, remember, I'm a fucking British guy who lives in America for whatever reason, which I know happens. I know obviously people come from other places to America and vice versa, but it's like, I think he worked at like a fast food place in like Iowa or wherever this takes place, Florida or some shit, and it's like, I don't know, he's just like, hello, let me take you order 2 large cheeseburgers. I've been here since I was me mom made me down and he brought me over to the States and I just kept my accent for my whole life or whatever. Yeah, down by the pub. But yeah. So, yeah, he disconnects, blows it up. Alright, yeah, so the moon can go back to its fucking orbit and be normal again. And then there's this weird part where, like, alright, so, like, yeah, everybody happy ever after. Credits roll, but wait, there's more. And then so he's like, it's me. It's fucking John Bradley. I'm alive. I thought I fucking died. And then I think his son comes up again. He's like, hello. You did die, but we scanned your consciousness before. Now you're part of the metastructure. And he's like, oh, all right, well, that's pretty cool, I guess. And they're like, are you ready for what's next? And then it's like, credits. So it's like, all right, they left it open for Moonfall 2, more moons. Moonfall 2, full moon. Full moon rising. Yeah, all right, so budget about 140 million, which it definitely shows. I mean, there's a shitload of CGI, and it doesn't look bad. The CGI looks good. I mean, even the nano cloud or whatever looks fine. So that's not the down part of the movie. I thought it was weird seeing Michael Pena. He pops up at a certain point. He's like the ex-husband, and I think he like sacrifices himself at a certain point in the movie, but it's like he just feels like weirdly added on, and I think it took a while till I'm like, oh, he's the new husband. Like, I don't even know. I thought he was like his best friend or some shit. He's just kind of like there. And then Donald Sutherland. I would love Donald Sutherland. I'd love to know how much he got paid to just basically. He's like the creepy man in the wheelchair, like the moon. I was there on the moon in the 60s, and we knew it was fucking scary. So don't go there. But it's too late. It's coming to us. Man. That was basically like his entire role. That 30-second thing. How are we looking? So on IMDb, 5.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomato, 38%. Facebook, 4.2 out of 5. So that's weird. Average rating audience score 3.2 out of 5. I would go lower. Official rating, moonfall, let the moon burn. It wasn't even like as entertaining as I thought it would be. It was, for a movie that's about a moon crashing into Earth, potentially destroying the Earth, it was surprisingly boring as hell. Like, there wasn't a lot of going on. Like, that first tsunami doesn't happen until like 40 minutes or more in. And then after the tsunami, nothing really happens until they're taken off and they get hit by the gravity wave. Not a ton of disaster happening in this disaster movie. How many moons do I want to give it out of 5? I'm going 1 moon, dude. Like, there's only one moon. There's only one megastructure in our orbit, and that's what I'm giving it. 1 megastructure out of 5. Not the best. Maybe save your money on this one. It is kind of worth it that we got the Adele cover. Let the moon fall. But, I mean, overall, not that great. So, thank you for tuning in for Dafuq did I just watch? Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave us a like. Go ahead and smash that bell right there. Go ahead and comment and leave whatever movies you'd like us to review. And we'll see you next time. Let the moon fall.